I will introduce Robert Thompson. He is going to be our presenter our presentation this evening. Robert is another fellow analytical individual. He is an appraiser, commercial appraiser. And all right, Robert, tell us a little about yourself and your experience.
Okay. In my experience in lifestyles, I joined in 2018. I actually joined in 2016. Didn't do anything because I had too many other things going on in my life. Rejoined in 2018. Bought my first house April 8th of 2019. Went in the hospital for a week the next day. Had a management company. Everything went great. In the past, a little over 2 years, I bought, I think 8 houses total. I've got 5 now. But the house we're going to talk about tonight is actually the second house I bought.
So Robert, again, is very analytical. Anybody that can tell you the exact date that they joined is my kind of people.
Yeah. As an appraiser, we're taught to look at it at the picture. What David teaches is the movie, and that going from day to day to day, here's what's going to happen over time. An appraisal will come in, hey, it's worth this much today. Don't ask me about tomorrow. Don't ask me about next week. This is what it's worth today. And that was the big aha for me coming in and seeing that, oh, there's a place we can go with this. And I never looked at it that way as an appraiser because it's just what it is today or just what it is last Tuesday when I looked at it. And the important thing is the movie. That's what does all of this.
Absolutely. So,
okay,
this is the fun property.
Yeah, we call this a beer can palace, and actually, there's not. You didn't put the picture in of this one?
There's pictures on.
Okay, this house was in an estate. The son had moved in. His son was living with him. The daughter had moved in also. She moved out because she didn't get along with her brother. We put this under contract. One of the Lifestyles realtor, Casey, found this actually.
Wasn't also her boyfriend, right?
No.
I'm just wondering.
Not that redneck.
Oh,
not
okay.
quite that redneck. But anyway, it was in the state. We put it under contract in May. They kept saying, oh, we can't close because they kept finding another credit card that had a balance. And so they couldn't close out the estate. We finally bought it, I finally bought it in August. So it was 3 months of waiting for them to close when we had told them we were ready to close in 2 weeks, and it didn't happen. You can see the before and after. This is the kitchen. There's another picture here, the next set of pictures. If you will look at the picture on the left, the before, you see the fly strips hanging down?
In their kitchen.
And they are covered, okay? That's the before, and that's the after on the next side. You see all the ram's heads hanging in the living room. It had been so long since they had been dusted. The dust was looked like droplets forming, falling off the top of them.
Hey, at least it wasn't human heads.
Yeah, there is that. This bedroom was actually unused in the house. And you can see what it looks like. That was the front bedroom on the right side. But again, you can see that's before and after. We call this the Beer Can Palace because in the middle bedroom, the grandson of the people that had died lived. And he had a stack about 2 feet high of empty beer and HEB soda cans. The bed he sat on all day long, played video games. There was a side of it that looked pristine, new, clean. The other side was black.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if you can see in this picture, but this black around here is grease.
Yeah.
Like he would get his elbow against there and just wipe off each day.
So this is something that I feel, though, Lifestyles just glazes over so quickly. And I just want to point out, we're looking at the before and after pictures. We've all had these moments when we're watching like HD TV or whatnot. But I want you to think about the actual effect of this. Like, not only did Robert go in there and make this property beautiful, livable, safe, and charged a fair, reasonable rent for a responsible tenant, Can you imagine how grateful the neighbors of this property are that they don't have the family that has fly strips hanging from their kitchen living there anymore? I can only imagine what the backyard, garage, whatnot looked like.
This was the proverbial worst house on the block. They had a carport they built out over the driveway. It was all torn up. There was just nothing pretty about the house. It had not had any maintenance for probably 10 years at least.
So this is like going out on a date with a girl. It's a blind date, and this girl talked back twice with two black eyes. We get that. It was ugly. But the goal here at Lifestyles is best product, best price, best people. Look at the before and afters. Give him a hand. Doesn't it look beautiful?
Did a great job on it. But even better, these are the numbers on this property.
Yeah, these are the actual numbers. And so many times you see, oh, it's appraised for this now. This is what we think. This is actually a buy and sell. I'm out of this property. So
full picture.
When I bought it, it actually appraised for $195. I can't do the appraisal. It's mine. I'm not a disinterested third party. I think Bruce did this one. Purchase price was $92. You can see immediately picking up the equity, but we've got to figure out how to get there. The rehab was a little expensive. The initial estimate was $40,000. Actually, I think it was $41 and change. Came in a little bit higher because you always get in there and, oh, there's something else. We open up a wall.
Found extra beer cans.
You're a little bit analytical. I've never seen this before.
Sorry.
75 cents, really?
Told you.
You could just round it up to the dollar for us?
No. I gave her the closing statement. Don't blame me.
Oh, she's the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
Okay.
Don't you guys appreciate the full numbers, not the rounded best case scenarios?
Okay. Equity capture is really good on this. Obviously, the cash flow per month was not great, but I try to focus more on the equity capture.
Again,
that's what I'm trying to do.
Closed on it in August of 2019, and you
sold it December of 2020, last December. So I had a little, 16 months in that?
So these numbers are realized. Robert has sold this property. He has captured $51,351.30.
Guys, he put out 17 grand and turned to 50,000 plus, a little bit of cash flow. Who cares about that?
In 16 months.
Who'd be okay with that? Now let's see how smart he is.
Now, why this is so super important is because whenever we see numbers and we're going through, it's like, but that was like 5 years ago, or that happened. No, the dates on this were 2019 to December of 2020. So
during COVID.
Really recently.
And not only that, Robert, when you make a 293% return, there's a technical term in the industry for it. Robert, do you know what that technical term is?
Peeing your pants excited.
Who agrees? Peeing your pants excited? Yeah. Might have to wear Depends on that one when it's over 200. That's like a drop.
Okay, this actually was sold to another member, and for what it's worth, I ran the numbers on it the other day. It's worth about $220 now.
So what's so funny is when we were going through this, like, I don't know if we should present on this one because I should have held it for a little bit longer. But nope, I think that this property worked out perfectly. So sold, done. No longer unrealized capital gains. These are realized capital gains. And here is Robert's portfolio currently as to date. Well, actually, it might not be entirely up to date because today is the 14th and you closed on Winter Spring on the 5th. So there might be an update on that.
Yeah, La Barca was the first house I bought. That's the one I told you about. Bought it April 8th of 19. Again, it was a big equity capture. Actually, the biggest part of that equity capture is what's happened in the market. Blue Oak, same thing. Anton, I still have. Deep Valley, I just put a tenant in about 2 weeks ago. 2 months ago, I'm sorry. Winter Spring, I closed it, and it needs nothing. It needs $1,000 worth of repairs. So that was a really good deal there. Timber Trail was actually something they tell you not to do. It was a fix and flip. And well, the logic behind it for me on that was I put one house worth of equity investment. I got 2 houses worth of equity investment back on an after-tax basis.
And you just gave the government how many houses?
I gave the government 39.4%.
Yeah, I wish you would have held it for 1 year and a day, and then you wouldn't have given 40%.
True.
That way, well, it's okay. You believe in each corner is means each corner is own, pay your fair share. Okay.
Tomato. So again, Robert joined in 2018, and he has acquired this amount of equity in his properties, $452,016. And he's given himself an additional cash flow of $14,496.
That cash flow doesn't include winter spring.
Oh, that doesn't include winter spring. So we'll have to update this slide. So if you guys can just bear with me for 10 minutes. So again, you started off with a $40,000 amount of cash to get this process started. You grew it into an additional $300,000 of equity, and we should note that that's not including any additional funds that you've put into.
Right.
And all of that equity in 2 years. You've purchased 8 houses, sold 3. Liz has purchased 3 of her own, which was an entirely another presentation that we will get to probably next month. And so a little bit of a life change.
Do you see how excited he is? That's how an analytical guy gets excited. Look, I got a smile. Oh, look at that. Damn. Okay.
So what is your goals?
Do a few. The problem with getting away from single family, as somebody reminded me the other day, David, it's crack cocaine. It's hard to step away because boom,
it's Mountain
boom,
Dew, Harper.
boom,
Mountain Dew.
boom. So I have a hard time walking away from that. But I'm going to switch over to multifamily here in the next year or so.
Yeah, it's very common when people get comfortable. Oh, like I'm making 60, 70 grand on my house, but you'll never make $500,000 a year with houses. You have to grow as a person.
Yeah. And so it's just that step.
He's weaning off of it. Weaning.
I'm trying.
Yeah, there's a 12-step program.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little about your team, how you were able to achieve all of this. We've got some lifestyles agents there. I think they're in the back.
Yeah.
We got Casey back there.
There's Casey. Casey's the one that found this house. And the long-haired hippie sitting next to him
that guy
is Trey. And the two of them, actually, I think I bought every house has been one of y'all. Pardon? Half and half? Okay. Okay.
they don't keep score or anything.
Greg Combs has done the leasing for me on several of them because I just don't have time to do it. So let somebody else do it. I think the people that were from Dallas earlier were talking about, they just hired an agent. Well, that's what I did with Greg. Scott Flynn, contractor that's worked on, I think, my last 3 or 4 houses. Rick Nunez at A&P has been my conventional. Park Place has done hard money for me, 212, Red Door. I've just kind of skipped around just to kind of do with all of them.
Robert has utilized the vendor list.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what would you like to tell anybody in the room or in the audience? Any advice for a first-time investor? What is something that you would tell yourself, I don't know, 2 years, 4 days, and 6 months ago?
The best time to do real estate is today. Or actually, the second best time is to do it today. The best time is to do it yesterday. You need jump on it.
Absolutely.
Like you said, I've been an appraiser. I've been doing it for decades. But I never took the time to step back and go, wait a minute, let's do this. And that's going from, as I said earlier, looking at it as a picture and looking at it as a movie. And always looked at it as a picture.
Don't live your life with regrets. Would have, could have, should have.
Yeah,
and interest rates are an all-time low. Cash flows are great, guys. It really is a great time to buy right now.
So I actually have a question. So since you've been an appraiser for a long time, have you had the opportunity to appraise the same property multiple times? Again, I recognize that there's time frames that you can, but just maybe something a long time ago. And in that experience, have you ever seen anything just drastically be significantly lower in value, short of a natural disaster or
short of damage or something else? No.
So it always increases.
It usually always increases. Yeah, we've had some economic downturns. Interestingly enough, we really haven't got hit in San Antonio. Right. But that's a whole nother discussion on economics and demographics, and we won't go there right now.
Oh, great. We're going to talk about Hayek versus Keynesian economics. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a spreadsheet. Don't worry about it.
All right. Are we ready for questions?
Questions?
Yes, sir.
All those houses in San Antonio?
All the houses in San Antonio?
Yeah, actually, all of them are actually within the city of San Antonio, yes.
Yeah, one way back there.
Oh, I'm going to bring you a mic.
We'll bring you a microphone because we got to have people online hear you. Yeah, but it's people online. Unless you can project through radio waves like the government.
So when you start out, you're doing hard money lending and then transitioning over to conventional. In that process, well, first off, let me ask that question. That's what you're doing, hard money first and then
Yes.
over to conventional. And I take it your hard money and conventional people are communicating with one another to know that eventually after that rehab, you're going to be able to transition over into conventional. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think actually every hard money lender has asked me for the pre-approval letter from my conventional lender.
Got it.
And
Yeah,
so they
they're not
do
gonna
work
lend you
very
unless
well
they know that's
together.
going to work.
And one of the things in working with the vendors, they all know each other from the lenders. So if I say, hey, I'm doing my permanent with Rich, you're like, great, we'll just call him and get what we need from him instead of bothering you to send it to us a second time.
We have ethically sourced hard money lenders.
What's
we don't go to the loan shark.
And I'm
pool.
going to steal another one. What's your average length of time on a rehab?
Average
Great
length of
question.
time?
45 to 60 days. Some have been as short as 30. Like I said, the last one I just bought, it's going to take the guy half a day to fix it. It needs nothing.
Thanks.
Great questions. Thanks. Anybody online? Or are we good?
Gotta go back and check.
She has to prance.
No.
No?
Okay.
All right.
All
Well,
right,
guys,
thank you so
really,
much,
thank you
Robert,
so much,
as
Robert.
always.
Thank
Can
you
we
for
give
giving
Robert
back.
a giant round of applause?